Hi, welcome to the MaintainPad CAFM system overview. So what we're going to do in this video is we're just going to have a bit of an overview of what's involved in the MaintainPad application, basically how that works in a CAFM environment. So there are two sides of the system. One is the app side, which you see here on the left, and then there's the backend admin dashboard. The app works in both an Android and iOS, and it also allows you to download the data to be used in an offline mode. Just talking you through the features that are available. Getting started from the core of the system, which is the assets. What you can do is you can add your assets obviously directly into the system, or again you can do this on the app side. When we add those assets into the system, like for example if I select this generator, we're able to capture those asset images, barcodes, a lot of other information. The most interesting and most used bit of info in here is the warranty data, the warranty start, the warranty end date, service due and the insurance due. The reason these are used is because the system will send out notifications if you want based on these dates coming towards an end. Related work requests, so what the system will allow you to do is you're allowed to put through repairs or work requests. So your external team or staff members or members of the public can actually report issues with your assets, and they will drop into the system and you can manage them, and I'll come to that in a second. And again, related work orders, so again as part of that flow from a work request to work order, any work order or any job that's actually done against the asset will basically appear here. Then your final section there is the asset value. So what we do is we allow the system to calculate the asset depreciation. So you can put in the purchase date and then obviously the price alongside that and the average depreciation percentage. Then coming over to the work orders, coming over to the repairs. So in the work requests, so as I was just mentioning before, we allow the team and staff members basically to put through work requests. We create an iframe, which I'll show you here. It looks a bit like this. So team members can go through, report repairs based on the asset or based on the issue. What happens is once that's complete, that basically drops into the system like this, alongside the address or the location within the property, and then you can see that information around there. You can see if there's any images being attached to that, property information, the issue details, and if you wanted to, you could choose the option to tender that out to your contractors. But again, that might not be relevant in this case. Coming into the next part of that is your work order. So once a work request has been created, either manually or by a staff member, there is an option here to convert that directly into a work order or into a job. When the work request is converted into a job, basically it appears here in the list, and there's a couple of options available from here. So there's an option to put in a due date for that staff member, and then obviously you can assign that to the staff member in question. There are a couple of additional flows in here. So for example, if you want to do bulk inspections, you can do that for bulk, or if you want to do bulk property inspections, that again is also an option. From in here as well, there is an option to set up, for example, what we call two types of maintenance, proactive and reactive. So what you can do is you can just set up as a one-off, so that one-off maintenance will happen once and then potentially never happen again, or may come in as part of the work request. Or you might have recurring maintenance, like for example weekly inspections, daily inspections of assets. So you can set that up to be recurring, and you can set up every day, every week, every year, for example. There is then some options in there a little bit further around creating bills and invoices. So if you are from the work request to be tendered, you can capture the billing and invoicing details around that should you wish. Properties are just the properties that we obviously keep. Again, you can break your properties down into multiple locations should you wish. Contacts again within that property, and you've got some little bit around the management, so just saying like for example the audit trail of staff members using the system. You can also set up notifications, so as I was mentioning earlier on, against your assets. If you want to send out notifications based on when the service is due or when the warranty is at its end, you can do that there. And then you can run some reports. So we've got some very detailed reports, for example on our activity, which goes into a database level, or if you just want to use some very basic template reports, again that is an option in here. And just to give you a bit of an idea, you will see, for example, for the work orders, I want to see the due date in the next 30 days, for example, and I can run an Excel report from this. One other thing in the assets, so there is an option in the assets to have either a fixed or rotational. So if, for example, I come back into the generator, you'll see here there's an option to change the type. So if I go for a fixed, it's normally your bigger items like your generators, your boilers and that type of stuff. And you might have a rotational asset. When you have a rotational asset, what you can do with that is you can actually check that asset out to a staff member. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a different asset for you. So for example, hot work iron. So for example, if I set up an asset as rotational, you'll see that there's now an option here for asset allocation. For example, the London office. I can assign that to a staff member. I can select how long I want that asset to be out for. So for example, from Monday 8 o'clock, and I'd expect it back by, for example, Thursday at say 12 o'clock. And then I can allocate that asset out. So now that we've allocated that asset out, what I'll do now is we'll show you a bit of a diary overview to give you an idea of how that would basically look. And what you can see in here is you can obviously see that allocation from a diary point of view. Again, that's also optional in the reports. If you want to pull it directly out of a report, that again is also an option. Yeah, and that's all. If you've got any questions around that, let me know. Thanks.